We have talked about two methods of solving a quadratic equation: the factorization method and the completing the square method. But if you don't want to use any of these methods, there is still another way you can solve quadratic equations. Let's make x the subject of this formula using the completing the square method. Divide both sides of the equation by a, then subtract c over a from both sides. The coefficient of x is b over a. So add the square of b over 2a to both sides in order to complete the square at the left side of the equation. 4a squared divided by a is 4a. So multiply both sides of this fraction by 4a so that the denominators would be equal. X plus b over 2a is equal to the positive or negative square root of this value. The square root of 4a squared is 2a. Finally, subtract b over 2a from both sides, and x is the subject of the formula. This is called the quadratic formula, which is a formula that can solve any quadratic equation. Remember, a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant number. Using the quadratic formula, replace a, b, and c with their respective values. 5 squared is 25, and minus 4 times 6 times minus 6 is 144. This number plus 25 is 169. The square root of 169 is either plus 13 or minus 13. 13 minus 5 is 8, and minus 5 minus 13 is minus 18. So x is equal to 2 over 3 or minus 3 over 2. The values of x are rational numbers because 169 is a perfect square. And 169 is a perfect square because this quadratic equation can also be factorized. Before using the quadratic formula to solve an equation, always make sure that the equation is equal to 0. Now you can use the formula. A is 2, b is minus 1, and c is minus 8. Simplify this, and the square root of 65 is either positive or negative. Therefore, these are the approximate values of x, which are irrational numbers. Let's take one more example. 1 over 2 is c, minus 3 is b, and minus 14 is a. Using the quadratic formula, you would notice that the denominator is a negative number. If you want, you can make it a positive number by multiplying both sides of the fraction by minus 1. The plus or minus sign stays the same either way. The square root of 37 is either positive or negative. Therefore, x is approximately equal to 0.1101 or minus 0.3244. Each time you forget the quadratic formula, make x the subject of this equation, and eventually, you will never forget this formula again.